Okay.
So we are now live on Facebook, Chef. We're ready to go.
Good evening, everyone, and I welcome you all on our last day of our Celebrity Chef Week. We have Chef Subroto Goswami today with us. Chef, thank you for coming, Chef. Thank you so much. Before we start, I would like to introduce you to our Dean, Professor Dr. Garima Prakash. Ma'am, please. Garima, ma'am.
Chef, Chef, good evening and a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
Our offer to be here. We really look forward to hearing you and taking your insight on the said topic. And again, a very warm welcome and a big thank you to you for being here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you to the attendees for coming in and joining us in this event. I would like you to introduce you to Chef Subroto. Chef Subroto hailed from Kolkata. He's an alumnus of IHM Kolkata, a batch of 1982-85. He got selected for Oberoi School of Hotel Management, which is now known as CND, a batch of 1985-87. His first assignment as a chef was with Oberoi New Delhi as a DCDP, which was his first assignment, was assisting senior chefs to open classical French restaurant, La Rochelle. He spent 15 years with Oberoi Hotels and Resorts at various locations, 8 Oberoi units, including executive chef of the Oberoi Bangalore when he decided to settle down in Bengaluru, and also as an in-charge for delicatessen unit, meat processing unit, one of its kind at that time at Oberoi Flight Services. He has just completed 35 years in the hospitality industry on 10th of July 2020. Chef, that's more than my age actually. So in this duration, he had worked with 18 hotels. These are top Indian international brands, wherein out of these hotels, he was executive chef for 12 of the eminent hotels, renowned hotels and brands like Easta Hotels, Grand Vasant Kunj, Radisson Blue Paschim Vihar, Hyatt Regency Mumbai, Hyatt Regency Kolkata, Intercontinental Hotel Group, where he was culinary champion for IHG and used to look after Southwest Asia, North and Western region. He was also the executive chef for the Lalit Mumbai and the Lalit Delhi. He got featured in some of the very leading TV channels and culinary shows, which include NDTV Good Times, Zee Television, Sahara TV and Tara Bangla. In 2020, he set up his own consultancy company by the name of White Truffle Consultants, based out of Bangalore, which is his hometown nowadays. White Truffle Consultants provide turnkey consultancy for new and existing restaurants and hotel projects. He'll be sharing his insights about culinary strategies to survive the crisis. But before that, Chef, if you could share your culinary journey with us from Oberoi's to this point of time. Chef, please, over to you, Chef.
I mean, you have covered almost everything. When somebody else says good thing for me, it is a praise. Yes. And when I say on my own, that is more like bragging. So I would avoid the bragging part and keep it to the minimum. I've said most of it. So yeah, I spent almost about 15 years with the Oberois. Starting my hospitality or the hotel industry career with Oberois in the Oberoi School, of course, and then moved to various hotels, almost all the hotels in Oberois, including Sri Lanka and Nepal. That time, Nepal, Oberoi had a property in Nepal, as well as in Srinagar also. So all these properties I've worked in Mumbai, the great iconic hotel of Oberoi Taj, the Oberoi Mumbai. So all those places, Oberoi Bangalore, and from where I became a Bangalorean, basically in '98, I was the executive chef with the Oberoi Bangalore. So from then on, I fell in love with that city and became a Bangalorean. So today I am a Bangalorean, I can say. Otherwise, I belong to Calcutta. Yeah. And to keep it short, then thereafter I left, after 15 years, I left Oberoi's. And then, of course, I joined with Hyatt as a pre-opening. I never did opening of a hotel as such. I did a lot of restaurant opening when I was with the Oberoi's. So after I joined Hyatt, that was my main aim, to open a hotel as such. So Hyatt was known, I mean, still known for F&B. They're way ahead in F&B compared to any other chains internationally as well as in India. So that was my initiative. I mean, the main motivation to join Hyatt. So after I opened Hyatt Regency Mumbai, and then I moved to Kolkata. And after that, of course, I came back to Bangalore because I got this opportunity to establish a brand called Ista, which was owned by Mr. G.K. Khanna, who also has a hotel in the Himalaya, Ananda. It is a very famous, it is among the top spa hotel in the world, one of the top. So they were venturing out into a business hotel. So I joined that ISTA, and then we did pretty well, though it was a smaller property compared to which I had worked earlier, but quite a niche property it is. So I worked there, established the brand quite well, and then I moved on from there. And then I came back to Delhi with the Grand Vasant Kunj, which was earlier the Grand Hyatt Delhi. So that later on became the Grand. So worked there for a little while, very short. That was my shortest duration in my whole career. So there I worked for a very short while, and then I moved to Radisson Pacific Vihar as again the opening chef of that property. So again, it was a very beautiful property, though it was located in West Delhi. So not many people ask, what were you doing in West Delhi? But surprisingly, the hotel was amazingly designed from the inside, and we did a very good business over there. And it was a great experience for me because I mean, just a short background I will give, because it was located in that Punjabi Bagh and the West Delhi area. So as a chef, I thought I will put the menus like mostly non-vegetarian and all that. But I was really surprised when I came, I mean, when I realized that most of the guests who were coming there are vegetarians. So it was a surprise for me. And then I learned how to cook without onion and garlic over there. So before that, I never had the experience of going no onion, no garlic. So there, a lot of guests had asked for no onion, no garlic. So like that, I mean, it went on. It was quite a great experience. And of course, my last assignment was with ING. I mean, ING Greater Noida, to be precise. It is in Delhi NCR. So there I did about 4 years, and during the duration over there, I was the area champion, culinary area champion for North and West. So about 11 hotels I was handling at that point of time in their culinary, all the hotels, the culinary journey. For example, doing the menus, the changing of the menus or the festivals, all those things I was involved in very closely with the executive chefs of those hotels. So it was again a very good learning experience for me, and it gave me a lot of things to do on my own, a lot of freedom I got to do and experiment things. So that, I mean, and then of course I came back closer to home in Chennai with the again IHG property. So that was my last assignment. I'm still in Chennai right now, winding up, and by the end of this month I'll be moving to Bangalore, my home. So I'm still in Chennai, just about packing up and moving to Bangalore. So this is I mean, in short, this is my professional life. So yeah, that's about it. So and
Great to hear that, Chef. Chef, the topic for the day seems very relevant. I was going through it, and the question keeps coming from even 2020 pass out hospitality students and the chefs who, as an effect of pandemic, doesn't have a job at present, and they all have the same question in mind: what to do during these unfortunate, unprecedented times, wherein there is no job. Hotels have kind of refrained. The students, and they have cut down to even 50%. They have cut down on the job opportunities. What to do, chef, during these times? So I guess culinary strategies to survive the crisis is what today's theme is all about. So chef, if you could speak on that, please.
yeah. So when you asked me what topic I should cover, I thought this is the best topic because we are all going through a major crisis in our life, in our whole professional life. We have never faced such kind of a crisis. So I mean, it is a one of its kind. I mean, in my 35 years in the hotel industry, I have never seen a crisis like this. Okay, probably even senior people like Mr. Kulmon and others who are there in the veterans in the industry probably have not even heard or seen anything close to it. So this is the mother of all the crises, probably as of now. I mean, in future, we don't know what is going to happen. Okay, so this is the topic that I chose because as we go into the topic, we will discover slowly what is there. But the main thing is in every crisis, wherever it is, I mean, we all face different types of crisis in our life, in our day-to-day life, and in every way we face some crisis or the other. And a human being, as a human being, we are programmed to find solution for those crises. Okay, we are programmed. Sometimes we don't think at all and we find the solution. It just comes automatically. However, there are times when it is a major crisis. Then what happens? We have to sit down, put our heads together, and think of a way out. How do we get over that crisis, and how do we find a solution so that we can deal with that crisis in a very effective manner? Like a saying goes, in every crisis, there is an opportunity. In every crisis, there is an opportunity. A small example, had there been no COVID, I don't think I would have been sitting here and addressing and coming in contact with all of you and talking to all of you. So this is an opportunity which has come up and which has been thrown to me in such kind of crisis situation. So this kind of crisis always comes, but we should not get carried away or we should not feel depressed. And just to give you an example, another example from my personal life, what happened is that time I just passed out of the Oberoi school, and there was a big event of Mr. Oberoi, which was getting hosted by Mr. Oberoi himself at Oberoi Palace, Srinagar. So I was sent there with a team of about 14 people from the kitchen, and it was headed by Mr. Homi Wadia, who was that time the Vice President of Food and Beverage. He was a great man. So he was heading the whole operation because it was a very, very prestigious operation. So event. So we went there. So the whole, all 14 of us reached there. We reached a little early. So about, I think about 15, 20 days earlier than the event, just to get hold of the situation and to understand how the hotel is and all that thing. Because we don't stand a chance to even 1% failure. It has to be 100 out of 100 score. It has to be. So after reaching there, after about a week or 10 days, what happened is the executive chef had a heart attack. Okay. So after he had a heart attack, I mean, he was absolutely completely gone. I mean, gone means he was not dead, of course, luckily, but he was out of action. So he was flown back to Delhi. Then what happened? Mr. Jagmohan Mishra was the general manager that time with the Oberoi Palace over there. He calls me, the most youngest person among the team, and he says, Subroto, you have to take charge of the kitchen. So I was like aghast and I was like completely taken aback. I said, how can that be possible? Because I have no experience of running a kitchen on my own. Yes, I'm still learning. I mean, this I'm talking about in the year 88. So it is about 8 months, 9 months when I have just passed out of the Oberoi school. Okay, so no, he didn't give me any option. He just said, you have to take charge and you have to handle this situation because at this point of time, it's extremely difficult for me to get an executive chef from any of the hotels because they can't spare. And this I'm talking in the month of, this was in the month of around March, April. So during those times in March and April, Oberoi Srinagar used to be chock-a-block because that was the season times around March. So I was like completely lost. I didn't know what to do. I mean, it is a huge crisis for me. I just couldn't think of any ways. But then there was no option for me. I have to take it as a challenge and have to find a solution. So I just sat down. I thought about how to go about it, how to handle this whole situation. So then I asked Mr. Jagmohan to help me out. I called up our Oberoi school instructor. I called up the executive chef. Those times there were no mobiles also. We have to call on the landline. Okay, so these are the challenges that time. So then I called the Oberoi executive chef, Mr. Chef Kushal Arora was there. Chef Jerome Gomes were there. He was executive sous chef. So I called all of them and I said, look, this is the situation I am in. So I need all of you to help me out to understand and take this event through because otherwise, I don't know, I might be thrown out of the job immediately if I go forward. So it was a huge amount of channel, and it is enormous. I mean, humongous thing. I couldn't even think. So they all were so nice, and they helped me. They gave instructions to me. They told me how to deal with it, how to go about it, what to do. And it was a daily call that I was making to Delhi, and I was calling all my senior chefs and taking instructions from them, and I'm implementing them. So at the end of it, somehow we managed to pull off a great show, and it went off very, very well. And what it did to me is it immediately put me on the radar of Mr. Oberoi and the top guys of Oberoi's. That means Mr. Homi Wadia and everybody. So I got the blessings of Mr. Homi Wadia, and he was extremely happy. And I got completely marked by him. Okay, this is the guy who can handle a situation. So this is how, I mean, this is just an example which I gave. So this is how a crisis also throws up a great opportunity. And when the opportunity comes, we don't know. I mean, we think, oh my God, it's a huge amount of burden on us. I don't know whether I'm going to do it, I'm going to sail through it, or I'm going to get crushed under it, what it is. But if there is a particular thinking, if there is a particular plan, if there is a particular strategy with us, which remains, and if we can think it, I'm sure we can find a solution, and then we can go forward and deliver it. And then we can call it a success at the end of it. And that is how, I mean, you can turn a crisis into an opportunity, and end of it, it can turn into a success story for a person or an organization. So then this is what it is, a little bit of what is a crisis and what is a strategy. So already I have given you an example. So this is just a definition. If you want to have a look on the screen, I can put it up on the screen. Chef Sunil, if you can just put this particular slide on the screen, and then you can close this slide, so that for everybody to understand, because this is a definition. Okay.
That will be slide down.
This is the third slide.
Okay.
Yeah. So the crisis, no, the third one, the previous one.
Okay.
Previous one. Yeah. So as you see on the screen for everybody to have a look, a crisis is, as a definition, this is a definition, I have given the example already. A crisis is any event that is going to lead to an unstable and dangerous situation affecting an individual or a group, community, or a whole society, which the COVID is doing at this point of time. It is affecting individuals, it is affecting the community, and it is affecting the whole society. So everybody is getting affected in a dangerous manner. Okay, crises are deemed to be negative changes in the security, economic, political, and societal or environmental affairs. So these are the things which is going to get affected negatively when there is a crisis, especially when they occur abruptly. A crisis always occurs abruptly. Okay, it never comes with a notice that, okay, I am coming on so and so date, be ready. Like same thing happened with the COVID. So nobody knew that the COVID, we were hearing that, okay, in China, these things are happening. In Europe, this just started to happen. And then suddenly in India, it is there. And we are all struggling to get over it. Okay, now this is what is the definition per se of a crisis. And what is a strategy? A strategy is a general plan to achieve one or more long-term or overall goals under the conditions of uncertainty. That means you don't know what is going to happen in future. However, on some assumptions or on some things, we need to plan ourselves, so that taking into account that how we are going to deal with that crisis, we arrive at a plan, and we want to implement that plan, and that is what becomes our strategy. So for this is mainly for the students, I mean for the experienced people, everybody is dealing with it, so everybody is aware of it. So mainly for the students, this is what a crisis and a strategy. So today we will be talking about a strategy to handle the crisis. Okay, so this is the plan that we are going to go through it. This is just a broad perspective of a plan that we are going to discuss, and slowly we'll get into it, like how to understand what's going to happen if we are going to get into a crisis situation. So you can put it down. Put down the Sunil. Can you please put down this thing? I'll talk about it now. Okay. Crisis, what we faced in earlier times also, if you remember, all of us remember, there was this 9/11 crisis which happened in US. So overnight, the hotel, I'm talking in perspective of the hotel industry and the food industry, all these things. Okay, so that time I was in the Oberoi, Mumbai, and what happened is the day the catastrophe happened in US, the World Trade Center collapsed. On that day, we had around, if I remember correctly, around 90% or something, 95% of occupancy, because it was a full season. September was the month. So we had a full about 95% occupancy. And this 9/11 thing was on somewhere in the beginning of the week or something. I don't remember exactly when it was, but somewhere around. But by the weekend, when we were approaching the weekend, I remember it very, very distinctly. By the time we were approaching the weekend, our general manager and vice president, Mr. Sunil, Sunil Malhotra, I think. Yeah. So he called a meeting and said that we have lost about 80% of our booking. So we were left with only about 18% of bookings. Means from 90%, 95% of booking, it straight away came down to about 15-20% of booking which was there. That's it. Everything got washed out. So it was a huge crisis. And what happened is then what we are supposed to do in such a condition? It is beyond anybody's control. I mean, even if we want to control, we just can't control because it is beyond anybody's control. So what we did is we all got together, all the chefs, all the managers, the general manager, everybody, front office manager, everybody. We all got together and we started discussing how do we get a hold on this situation. Okay, so it was an enormous tragedy and an enormous catastrophe in terms of economic disaster, in terms of everything. So what we did is we decided on certain plans that, okay, these are the plans that we are going to do. These are the things that we're going to do to get in control. First of all, like for example, from the kitchen context, what we did is at those point of time, we used to get a huge amount of imported meats and those items which were the grocery items which were imported in bulk for about 2 to 3 months period of time in one shot. Okay, so and they were kept in the deep freezers, the meats were kept in the deep freezers and the other items were kept in the stores. So what we decided as an immediate solution is that we will stop ordering of any of such imported goods, any of these imported goods. That would give us a huge saving, ease on the capital blockage, and not only that, since the business has dropped, so whatever quantities were there left with us, we will get those used up in the process, and without throwing them out or without getting a huge spoilage, because if the sales are low, then obviously it will amount to huge spoilage. So instead of ordering fresh items, we started using up those items, putting them in our menus, putting them in the buffets, all those things we did, even imported meats and all these things we were using in the buffet, just to make sure that they are getting used up. And in the process, we are saving on the cost factor of it. So this is one example. So this is what happened and this is what we did during the 9/11 crisis. Okay, then of course, then next thing what happened is in the Mumbai floods, which was in 2005. Okay, then there are some like 26/11, the terror attack in the Taj. Okay, after the terror attack, what happened? There was a huge crisis. No, everybody was feeling hesitant to go into a hotel, go into a restaurant, because they didn't know. I mean, a terrorist can just walk into a restaurant or a hotel and start shooting. I mean, a person can die while dining. It was a huge threat and a huge crisis. So what the hoteliers, what the people, what the strategy that was formulated was, okay, we will put extra guards. We will ensure that everybody is risked. We will ensure that nobody walks into a facility without an ID card. all the vendors, everybody to have an ID card. So these are the systems and processes and procedures that gets developed. And this is what strategy is all about when we are talking about a crisis. We learn from the crisis, okay, this is how it is, and this is how we need to address it, and this is what needs to be implemented, this is the plan. So this is how things changed, and this is how we went forward, and we managed to get hold of the situation, and we got the confidence back from the customers, and then slowly people started going back to the hotels, and then they went back to the restaurants. So this is what it is. And now the mother of all crises is the COVID. This is a disaster at this point of time in across the globe. It is not only India, it is not only US, it is not only China, it is across the globe, which all of us knows. And God knows when this is going to be getting under control. However, it is a very, very critical situation, but at this point of time, we need to focus our mind, and we have to find a solution, and we have to find a strategy to deal with it. Otherwise, we will not know which direction we are heading. Okay. So just this, Chef Sunil, can you please put up this thing? So the slide, this is a slide which I want everybody to have a look. This is the
Which one, Chef?
next one.
Yeah, Chef.
Just go to the next slide, please. And the next one.
Okay, Chef.
The next one. Okay. So this is how the COVID has affected the food industry. It is just not the restaurant which are shut. It is just not the people working in the hotel who have been asked to go home. Okay, this is how all the industry which are related, like when there is a car manufacturing that is happening, there are so many ancillary industries which support the manufacturing of that car. Similarly, when a hotel is running or a restaurant is running, there are so many other industries which supports it and which also in the process makes money and supports their families and other things. So if you look at this slide particularly, so these are the related industries which has got immensely affected due to this COVID situation. So with the closure of the eateries as affected this packaging, the packaged food industry is completely destroyed now. Okay, processed, canned, these are gone because no hotels, no restaurants, nobody is buying the packaged food or the canned food. All those things are completely stopped. Whatever stock the hotels, the restaurant they have, they're using them. Even if somebody is ordering, they're ordering very, very minimum quantities. Then the most huge amount of revenue generator was the liquor, wines, beer, all this industry. There is a immense fall of revenue, and also it is a direct hit to the exchequer of the government, because the government is also not making money from the excise that they collect from the sale of these liquor, wines, and beer. So it is completely like shut down. And if you look at the microbreweries which are there, which people have set up and which were doing extremely well across the country, wherever they're allowed to set up, has been not been functioning over the last 4 months. And it is a huge, huge cost that they have gone into, and huge amount of loss that they're incurring. Because to revive that, it requires a huge amount of investment again. And not only that, the sales will not be equivalent to what they were doing in the pre-COVID days. So it is again a huge loss that everybody is incurring. The fishing industry. The fishing industry is again a huge industry. And so many numbers, so many hundreds of people, lakhs of people, they depend on this industry. So they're gone. The dairy industry, you can know for yourself, okay, in the homes we are using dairy, fine. But when there is an event, there is a 500 packs event happening in a hotel, a shadi happening in the hotel, there are about 150 kg of paneer that is being used, or about 200 liters of milk that is getting used in one single day. So that is gone, finished. Nobody is buying that. So it's a huge loss. And that is about one hotel I'm talking about. So many hotels, I mean, across the country. And then the farming of all the things, starting from your English vegetables to your exotic other herbs, to your regular fruits, to things like your cereals, everything. Because right now you can see while driving on the highway, you can see those farmers there standing with their truckloads of papaya, pineapple, all those things. They're just ready to give it at any price, whatever you ask, because they have no buyers. Their things are getting rotten. They have to throw it in the garbage. So whatever price you give them, they're ready to sell it. So this is a huge impact that the COVID has in this ancillary industries. And then the transportation. There was a huge amount of transportation that was involved in transporting all these items like liquor, wines, fishes, fish, dairy, vegetables, poultry, all those things were transported from one city to another. And then this has come to a complete standstill. Though at this point of time, we can see that some amount of essential items are getting transported, but that is, I would say, not even 30 or 40% of the total consumption that was happening earlier. So it's a huge, huge drop in the transportation business also. And here I would like to say one thing. The National Restaurant Association of India has asked the government of India for a bailout. So can you imagine the amount of economic value this industry is? It is a 4,23,865 industry that we are talking about. It is just not about 50, 100, 2,000 crores industry. It is a 4,23,865 crores of business that the food and beverage related and food and beverage industry does. It's a huge amount. Can we go to the next slide, please? So this is again a little bit of figures, might be a little boring, but yes, it is important because this is what is hitting us. So this is the impact of restaurant COVID on our restaurant business. See, organized dining in our restaurant will lose due to COVID. They will lose about 40 to 50%. Already it's already in 40 to 50% of the revenue for the financial year 2021. Means till March things are not going to change. Okay, and due to low demand on restaurants will operate about 25 to 30% of their capacity, which we all know because as per government directive, they have to reduce by 50%. Here it is 30%, there it is 50% that has been reduced. And this is a physical reduction of the number of guests that can come and sit in the restaurant. And then the drop in the sales, which is about 25 to 30%. So you can imagine what is the amount that the restaurant owner will earn. Then organized restaurant sector sales declined by 90%. Can you imagine? I mean, it's a disaster, biggest disaster, 90%. Online food orders have declined by 50 to 70%. That means this all these cloud kitchen things and all those people through the aggregators, food aggregators, they have declined 50 to 70%. And these are all research from CRISIL. This is not my figures. These are from CRISIL. Organized restaurant account for 35% of India's restaurant industry, estimated to about, which I mentioned earlier, about 4.2 lakh crore in the year financial year 2019. And dine-in restaurants amount to 75% of our organized restaurant business. Okay, so this is why I put this slide. And the amount of employment which is generated by restaurant industry, 7.3 million people. It is not few hundred, few lakhs. 7.3 million people work in our industry. So this is the reason why I put this, because I thought everybody should know what is the impact and how much are we suffering and what is the impact that we are getting from this COVID. It's a huge, huge impact that is coming through. Okay, now getting back to the so now we have seen this is the whole impact of the crisis. This is the whole impact of the crisis. It's an immense crisis, which is at this point of time. Also, there are some people who are unable to gauge how much. I mean, of course, laymen, forget the laymen. Even in the industry, there are some people who are not able to gauge what is the impact. So it's a huge impact that everybody is facing. Now, the strategies. Okay, now I will come to the strategy part, because that is also important to understand how we are going to deal with such kind of situation. So this is the part which is important, because I have divided the strategy into two sections sort of a thing, which is one part is from the culinary point of view as a chef. When a chef is a person, Okay, a chef is a person. That part I have put as a person, what he's supposed to do. And the other part is when the chef is a professional, in the sense, of course, a chef is always a professional, but when the chef is working in an organization and a team is there with him, and then what he's supposed to do. So these are the two aspects that we are going to discuss now. So the strategies to survive. So here, if you look at it, you can put down the slide. That's okay. I can. Sunil, you can put down. You can remove the slide. I can just go on. Okay. So as a person, what needs to be done is one has to be absolutely be positive, because at this point of time, if we get into a pressure, of course, everybody is undergoing the pressure, mental pressure, economic pressure, financial, everything. However, it is very, very important that we remain positive. Without being positive, we cannot find a solution. If our mind is completely cluttered or it is pressurized that, oh my God, I don't know, we are heading to a doom, of course, our mind will stop acting or thinking, and we cannot find a solution at that point of time. So here we need to be, I know it's a difficult thing, but we have to remain a little positive so that our mind and the brain starts to find and think solutions what it can be. Okay. This is the time as a person, what you can do is you can analyze your strength and your weaknesses. Okay, like you have time, you sit down if required, take a piece of paper and write down what you need, what is your strength, like a SWOT analysis, but you have to do an analysis and understand that what you have to do, what are your strengths where which you can hone more, and where the weaknesses are, you need to work on them and then strengthen them. And as I said earlier, every crisis has a opportunity. So try and think, what is the opportunity this kind of crisis is throwing at me? Where I can find an opportunity or create a demand for myself, and I can get into that so that in spite of the crisis being there, I can survive and I can get an opportunity to do something. Okay, so you need to focus and understand that only you can understand, because once you have done your strength and your analysis of your strength and your weaknesses, then you will know exactly where you can create an opportunity for yourself. Okay, now the other thing is you can train yourself and educate yourself. Now I can tell from my example, what I'm doing is, of course, I have attended, I have subscribed to a lot of these courses. In IHG, there are a huge amount of courses conducted by Harvard. These are called Harvard Management courses. So I have subscribed and I have done a lot of these courses. These are free of charge and they don't cost a penny. Okay, so I have done a lot of courses. Then, of course, I have done some other courses also in relation like to digital marketing and things like how to go about like pitching yourself in a sales mode. So all those things which are going to help me in my future. So here the next point comes is, now one has to understand what are the building blocks that I need to create for myself. So because the crisis might remain for a longer duration than we might think, or it can get shortened and can come under control, say within about another 6 months to a year. However, this is the time when we can plan ourselves and we can create those building blocks. These are my building blocks, and this is where I can build myself to achieve my goal for next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. So there you need to create those building blocks for your future success. Those are the things that you need to focus on. Okay, then as I said, I mean, this is a great thing. Now, I have never, trust me, I have never, or probably once or twice, I have attended a webinar in my whole professional life. But in this last 3 to 4 months, probably I have attended close to, not 100 exactly, but yeah, close to about 60, 70 probably. And I'm not attending each and every webinar wherever I get to see whichever flashes on my screen. No, I am little choosy. I know what are the webinars that are going to help me. What are the webinars from where I can get some information which is going to help me and which is going to help me build myself or to understand the industry or to take my future decisions. It will help me. For example, the other day I attended a webinar where all the CEOs and the owners of Oberoi Hotels, Park Hotel, ITC, all these people, they came together and it was a fantastic webinar which was conducted and I attended that. It was a great insight that we had, and actually from these people who are running their own hotel chains, they are saying what needs to be done, how we can handle this, how we can go about doing and finding a solution to these things. So it is a great learning. So I would urge everybody, please select the webinars and select which one you want to attend. Just don't attend all the webinars which is coming along, because nowadays there is a flood of webinars that's happening in the web. Okay, so just don't attend everything and everywhere. Just be selective. And like, for example, another webinar I'm going to attend, which I'm very excited about, is on 23rd of July. Mr. Ratan Tata will be speaking on leadership skills. It is an amazing thing. I mean, he is an iconic figure, and people would pay probably 10,000 rupees to attend a seminar, which is where he will be present. And this is coming all free of charge. So I will definitely attend that. And I have already registered myself. And if any of you are interested, you please go ahead and register yourself. I'm sure it will be one of its kind, because when Mr. Ratan Tata speaks, it is worth a hearing. Okay, so that is what you need to do. And then regarding the culinary things, culinary skills, every weaknesses, as I said, once you are drawing up your analysis of strength and weaknesses, you do it the same thing for your culinary skills. Okay, in a kitchen, wherever, whichever kitchen you're working in, whether it's Indian, Western, whatever, Chinese, Asian, whatever. So you need to understand what are my skills, where I can improve, where I can build this particular skills. For example, today I might like to learn Japanese. Okay, because I think in tomorrow's date, or Korean probably, in tomorrow's date, there will be a lot of Korean guests, and the Korean government might be interested in investing in India. Okay, so I might be interested in learning Korean, because in future, when there will be a demand of Korean food, I will be ready with that skill. Okay, so this is how you have to understand where your strengths are and what you can do, and do your building blocks and understand and do it in a way where you can just write it and keep it as a recorded thing, so that in future when you are going through those, you remember, okay, oh, I missed this particular thing, I need to focus here. If you just think tomorrow morning when you wake up, probably you'll forget a couple of things and you just get lost. Okay, when you write down, when you're sitting down, you're focusing your mind. If you write down, it will stay with you, and you can always go and review it, how much you have achieved and how much is yet to achieve. So that's how one should go about. And then, as I said, you should always find time to educate others. Educate others, I repeat. You are educating. At the same time, you need to educate others. Why I'm saying this, educate when you are educating others, when you are teaching somebody, whatever skills you have, whatever knowledge, little, big, doesn't matter. Whatever you have, you can even say teach the son of a driver probably. Okay, whatever. I mean, you can just do some kind of teaching. It gives you a great psychological high. It gives you a great psychological high, because you're doing something positive, you're helping somebody, and it doesn't cost money. It doesn't cost money. You just go and help that person. So, and in the return, what you're getting is you're getting an immense amount of psychological high, which is going to give you a great positivity. And this is what is required at this point of time, because the whole world is in a negative situation. So you develop some positivity. If you do this exercise, trust me, it is going to give you a great high, and you will also learn a lot of things. You learn how to deal with a particular person, how to deal with the tantrums, or if it is a young kid, how to deal with that. So all those things, these are minor things, but it will keep your mind engaged, and it will give you an outlet to generate a lot of positivity. So this is what, as a person, a chef, as a person, you can do. And also another thing is, you can try some cooking some dishes of your own. Don't just sit idle at home. And this is for all the students. And if any professional chefs are there who are, I mean, of course, not a very senior chef, but yeah, even a senior chef doesn't matter. If you are there at home, you can just do a little bit of trials. You can do some new dishes. You can let your family try it. You can let your friends try it, because the ingredients are available. Yes, you don't have the luxury to get everything and anything. However, with that limited availability, you can still go ahead and get some things done which will also give you a good feeling. It will generate a lot of positivity around you, because when you treat your family members with certain new things, they will feel happy, and there will be a good positive energy inside the house. And same with your friends and others, neighbors and all. Okay. So now this is as a person when you're doing it, as a chef, as a person. Now we are coming to when the chef is in a professional life, what you're going to do. Okay, so here, first of all, you have to evaluate your team's capability, what the team is capable of, because nowadays everybody will be forced to operate with a small number of people. You don't have the luxury of earlier days of having 20, 30 people working with you. Now probably you will have 7, 8, 10 people working with you. So you have to understand what is the capability of those people, how they can deliver, what they can deliver. Based on that, you have to redesign the menu, you have to redo the menus, because again, as we know, the menus has to be redone, because at this point of time we don't have the luxury of getting everything from imported items to some exotic items. We are not getting it in the market. We have to make do with things which are local. Focus on making things local. And also I would suggest, this is my suggestion, if you want, you can implement, or else you can just do away with it. Try to promote vegetarian food. Okay, because at this point of time, a lot of guests have it in their mind that if it is a non-veg item, it can carry some infection. Okay, which might not be true, but there is no pathological research into it which can prove that. Yeah, bacterial, yes, but no pathological study says that COVID can get transmitted through a non-veg item. It's not yet established. However, just to be on the safer side, you can promote some vegetarian food which people will like to eat. Okay, and then of course the other thing is that you have to talk and be in touch with the market, what is going on in the market. When I say market, it means the people, I mean your guest who was there, who's dealing, I mean you are dealing with the guest, those people, you have to be in touch with them. That have regular meeting with the sales team who can help you give the live feedback from the market, what the market is saying. And based on those feedback, you have to modify yourself so that you are cut out for the market. What the market wants, you are providing that. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, because if you do anything in excess, it will be a wastage, and at this point of time we cannot afford wastage. So a very strong focus should be also there in controlling all the wastage that happens in the kitchen in a regular time. So you have to cut down everything in those lines. Nothing, you have to be minimum. I mean, there will be a little bit of wastage, definitely, but one has to focus very strongly, and this is the job of a chef. This is not the job of a team member or a commie or somebody. This is the job of a chef. A chef has to be completely focused on ensuring that there is no wastage happening in the kitchen. Okay, so your menu has to be designed in such a way, it is all linked. Okay, you are getting a feedback from the salespeople that, okay, the market says that I want like this. Okay, for example, right now, in the packaging, in the takeaway things, now the demand is for DIY. DIY is do-it-yourself kits. Okay, people are eating at home, they're ordering from outside, but they're at the same time hesitant to get something already pre-cooked. So they want to do the finishing at home just to ensure that it is safe. Okay, so this is what the sales team comes and tells us that, okay, this is what the market wants. So immediately we have to redesign the menu and we have to get these things implemented, otherwise we'll miss the bus. Okay, this is important. That is why I'm saying the sales team plays a very important role in getting the feedback from the market. And I would also suggest the regular guests whom we are in touch with, we should always go and ring them up once in a while to understand what is their feeling, and also just generally say hi, hello, and if you're fine and if you're keeping well and all, it just generates a good feeling. Okay, so this is very, very important. And as I said, it has to be local and replace all the imported items. Not, you cannot do it 100%, no, but try and do it as much as possible, because if we do local, then the chances of not making a menu item not available is very, very low. If you are using too many imported or exotic items, it might be that at a later stage or at suddenly those items will not be available and your menu item will not available. Okay. Also, one has to be pretty innovative. In these times, you just can't go by the conventional way of doing things, because if you do that way, then the demand will not be there. People are bored. They want to see something exciting because they're sitting at home. They cannot go out. So we have to, as a chef, we have to create some fun factors. We have to create some exciting things for all our guests so that they get engaged and they remain engaged with us, and they do certain things that uh, create some excitement in their life, even by sitting at home when they're ordering from outside. Okay. The other thing is we need to budget properly so that we don't go over budget. And also in regards to your vendors, one has to be very, very truthful, and one has to be clear with the vendors that, okay, I can make your payments only after 2 months. Don't tell them I'll make the payments. This is for the entrepreneurs and the chefs who are going to be entrepreneurs. For them, don't just tell them a story that, okay, I will pay after 15 days. You'll not be able to pay definitely. So you tell them very honestly, see, this is the situation, I'll be able to pay after a little while. Okay, so this is how one has to control that. And then reduce the stock level in the stores. So once that is reduced, automatically your capital investment goes down. So you are no longer holding up capital. So you get what you need and use it up immediately. And then, of course, and the control on hygiene has to be very, very strong. We cannot afford to slip up on that area, whether it is receiving, whether it is in the staff locker rooms or with the staff. As a chef, one has to be extremely careful that when the team is coming into the kitchen, they have to wear the protective gears, they have to wash their hands properly as per the timings, so that they are safe and the guest is safe. So we have no second thoughts about it. And then, of course, few more things are there. Responsibility is one thing which you need to look at, because now is the time when there will be dual responsibility or multiple tasks one has to perform. So those are the things. I mean, as a chef, probably you have to go and talk to the guests, do a little bit of service, or else even go out on sales call. So these are the things, multiple jobs that one needs to do and develops himself. Okay, and then regarding the layout plan of the kitchen, one has to be very, very clear what is because with today's demand, the layout plan of the kitchen might be changed a little bit, because most of the restaurants are doing now takeaways. So to do a takeaway, you need to shift your kitchen or your takeaway place towards the exit point of the restaurant or hotel. Okay, so that the people who are coming from outside, the aggregators, they don't come inside your food production area. So that is very, very important. So please focus on that so that your area remains safe and you are not contaminating that area. Okay. And also the most important thing, I will come to the last part of it. The most important thing is to build up the confidence level in our guests. If we build up the confidence level in our guests, like as I said in the 9/11 time, what we did is we put extra security guard, we put tags, all those things. So now is the time. What we have to do is we have to put out videos, we have to put out photographs, we have to showcase whatever we are doing with the guest, I mean, in front of the guest, so that the guest watches it live. When we are operating a show kitchen, I would prefer operating a show kitchen instead of a back kitchen, because once we are operating a show kitchen, even if 10 guests comes into the restaurant, he or she sees that what is being done is done in a proper manner, and there is no cross-contamination, and there is no risk of the COVID. So then the confidence level of the guest goes up, and be assured the guest will be definitely be wanting to come back to this particular restaurant. And the last thing, and the very important thing is, you have to be close to your family members. Don't cut away from the family members because you are undergoing a stress situation. You have to bond with them, be close to them, but don't unload your stress on them. Don't unload them. Share with them. Talk to them that this is the crisis. This is how I am facing a problem. What should we do? How do we go about it? Just don't dump your stress on them and then feel free. Because if you dump your stress on them, then what happens? They will get stressed out, and it is not a very healthy situation. Okay, so share the stress, let it go down, because I know everybody, including myself, we are all stressed. Okay, so let us share our stress with our family members, and at the same time, stay close to the family and do not create more stress with each other. So this is what I would like to say, and this is what is very, very important. So I think I have covered almost all the part of it. And now, Saurav,
Yes, sir.
anything from your side?
We have a lot of questions coming in, so I guess
Shoot. I love questions. Yeah.
we give the mic to Mr. Pradeep first.
Just speak a little louder because your voice is coming a little faint. Yeah.
Sunil Chef, can we give the right to Mr. Pradeep first? Mr. Pradeep Mazumdar.
Chef, good evening. Are you being able to hear me?
Yes, very loud and clear, Pradeep. Carry on.
Most importantly, if you were near me, I would have given you a hug. The reason is because you graduated in 1988 and I entered Oberoi School in 1989.
Okay, I graduated in 87.
87, is it? Mr. Homi Wadia mentioned you in our FMP classes, and he mentioned about the same Srinagar event that you just now spoke about, Chef. It was so nice to hear it.
Thank you. Thank you. He is a very, very respected person.
Yes, absolutely. And you were trying to remember Sunil Juneja's name.
That's right. That's right.
You were getting confused with Sunil Malhotra. So I just thought, let me just once again refresh your mind.
Yes.
So, Subroto Chef, the other day I was speaking with Chef Manjeet Gill, and we were having a very interesting conversation. Now, we are talking about social distancing. Now, social distancing as an expression will never be used in our industry. In our industry, we have to use the word safe distancing. They say FE, safe distancing. Now, when we talk about safe distancing, and one of the points you just mentioned was the kitchen layout. If we think, Saurabh, there is a lot of sound, Saurabh. I don't know if you can hear me. If you can mute.
I can hear you clearly.
I was telling Chef Saurabh Chhabra.
Yes, we can hear you clearly, sir.
Okay. So when we talk about safe distancing and in the kitchen layout planning, if you look at safe distancing, you will probably have to, disengage a lot of people from each other. If that be the case, would there not be a requirement of employing more and more people? And I ask this question because there are a lot of youngsters in this program.
See, at this point of time, what is happening is the business is pretty low. Okay. And at this point of time, the labor, whatever is available, as I said, we have to rethink ourselves with the menu. Okay. If we rethink ourselves with the menu, then I'm sure we can manage with less number of people in the kitchen. And at the same time, when I'm saying the relocation or relaying of the planning of the kitchen, physical planning of the kitchen, that doesn't mean that you break down the kitchen and create something new. Because at this point of time, no owners, no entrepreneur, no existing person would like to invest in the money. However, saying that, I would also like to add, if at all, I'm saying, not a necessity, but if at all you think that there is a possibility that by adding a particular equipment, you can cut down on manpower or you can cut down on space or you can cut down on the energy factor, I think you should convince yourself, management or the owners, to invest in that, because that will help. That will really help. And also it will be more hygienic.
Okay, makes sense what you're saying. One
Yeah.
more thing is that, gone are those days when we would only talk about luxury. Now we are only going to talk about clinical hospitality or clinical luxury. The word clinical will
Yes.
now assume very huge proportion in our industry, because any client, any grahak who wants to come in would first have to be absolutely mansik tarike se mentally safe that I will be safe and I will be alive. So talking about clinical hospitality, our kitchens may very soon turn out to be hospital kitchens.
Sort of, yeah. But that is where a chef's role comes in. So, I mean, all the hygiene factors and also the hygiene manager plays a very important role in this, because all the hygiene factors needs to be implemented in 100%. No compromise on that. At the same time, it should not look like a hospital kitchen by any chance. It should still look like a food production kitchen, maintaining all the standards, of course. Because see, in IHG, I can talk about IHG because till date I am employed or engaged with them. So in IHG, we have got a very well-defined charter of action that needs to be implemented in the kitchen to make it a 100% safe kitchen. Okay, so it is, you are right to a certain extent, and I agree with you that yes, it will be more like a hospital kitchen, but yeah, not exactly like a hospital kitchen, because hospital kitchen has a different kind of menu that they are handling. So nothing to talk about that time.
Great hearing you, Chef. Great hearing you. Before I sign off, it would be good if you speak to the youngsters a little bit about kitchen audits and HACCP conditions, so they will learn a little bit more about that.
Sure. I think because the time is limited, we can have another session for that.
Okay.
I leave it to Saurabh to decide.
Thank you,
We
Saurabh.
have few
Thank you so
questions
much.
from Mr. Parimal and Mr. Chef Dr. Prem Ram.
Good evening.
I'm unmuting Mr. Parimal.
Hello.
Mr. Parimal, you're on. Okay, no response. Prem sir, you are unmuted. Prem sir. Chef. I guess they have some audio option or audio problem, something there.
By the way, just have a question. Chef Subroto, can you please forward that link of Mr. Ratan Tata's leadership series? Or can you just give us...
just drop in. My contact details are there in the last slide, so which I will request Sunil, Chef Sunil, to
If you
flash
can
it.
just,
Sure.
if you can just give
Yeah,
us the cell, give me the cell number, I'll note it down.
Yeah, so you can note down all the details from there. So if any wish to share any questions, a personal question or any queries or anything, it is there on the last slide, second last slide. Okay. Before this, slide before this, yeah. So you can connect with me on this slide. And as you all know, I just started my consultancy, which is called White Roof Consultant. So we are providing a complete turnkey projects to all the new entrants as well as to the existing ones. And of course, we have a complete team of hotel veterans in their own field and their masters in their own field. So who's assisting with me here? We have a complete team of people with me, from finance to engineering to HR to everyone. So in case anybody who has a requirement to set up anything, you're most welcome to contact me, and we'll be providing you with the best services which is available in the market. Okay, so I hope we'll be of help to each other. So, any other questions?
Chef, yes, we have a question that has come up. Do you think it is possible to make sustainability compatible with reduced spending and improved service quality in hospitality?
Of course, it is 100%. Sustainability is the key word right now. I was listening to Chef Nishant yesterday, and he is absolutely right when he said that we should not neglect sustainability, because sustainability, what sustainability means is to sustain. Okay, and at this point of time, we have to sustain ourselves. If we cannot sustain, we are out of business or we are gone. So at this point of time, as I said, we need to go local. We need to procure things from the local market. How it is going to help, like as I said in my one of the slides, as you have seen, these industries which got affected, the farming, dairy, all these things which got affected, we can promote them, we can help them by procuring from them instead of importing things from elsewhere, in which case the availability is a big question mark. And also there, the role of a chef comes in very, very large and important, is the chef has to develop the menu in such a way which includes these local items and the sustainable items, and including those items, a great and interesting menu can be created. So it is absolutely right, and there is no questions about it. That is the future.
Yes. So one more question. There is a small hotelier in Leh.
Saurabh, you are not. I mean, I can't hear you.
Sunil Chef, can we mute everyone? The voice.
Yeah, I think Premsa was unmuted. I've just muted him again.
Please, thank you. So,
Sure.
Chef, there is a question from a small hotelier from Leh. He wanted to ask during this testing times, what do you suggest? Because there is no local business there.
Sorry?
During these testing times, what is your suggestion to a small hotelier in Leh who have no local businesses in Leh?
Local business. See, at this point of time, you have to find ways to just to keep your head above the water. Okay, whatever way. Either you procure local items, you cut down your manpower, you relocate your business from a expensive location to a more cheaper location. So anything and everything, whatever you need to do, you have to be drastic in your action and you have to implement them. There is no emotional factors involved here, because at this point of time, you have to survive. So if you cannot survive at this point of time, forget the future. Okay, so at this time, it is all about surviving. So in a survival instinct, one doesn't think about emotion. There is no emotion involved when a person is trying to survive. Okay, you have to do it at any cost.
Okay, so there's one very interesting question that has come up, though nothing to do with the theme for the day. So I guess he's a hospitality pass out student by the name of Inamul Hassan. So he said that he's asking how to crack OCLD and how much hard work have you done to actually enter OCLD?
Sorry, what?
How much hard work have you done to enter the OCLD program?
The most difficult question. Well, I don't know which year he's from, but the whole effort has to start from first year. That much I can say. It just can't start on third year or fourth year. Okay, by the time it's too late. If you decide, that's what, again, you have to set your goals, you have to set your building blocks, and you have to put a aim. Okay, I have to reach there. Okay, yeah, a little bit of luck also helps, definitely. But the work has to start well in advance. You can't just wait for the last day. And if you talk about hard work, see, I personally, I used the IHM library to the fullest. Almost most of the books in regards to management and culinary, I had read them. And during the interview, yeah, I mean, I was lucky. Probably I got the easier answers, easier questions. But yeah, I was prepared for it, definitely. And you need to refer to a lot of books and read and do your studies properly. Don't wait for the third year or the fourth year. Start from first year.
So any other questions, Sunil Chef? Yeah.
No, sure, nothing as of now.
Okay, one more has come up. In this situation, some are losing their jobs. Now, what about the present graduated students this year who are coming up with less jobs?
See, hoteliering or in the context of a chef, I would say this is a skilled job. Okay, and once you acquire the skill, it will never go away from you. You have to just be proficient in it. So the only thing I can say probably at this point of time, there is little hardship. Yes, there will be because the situation is not so healthy. However, uh, the bus is definitely going to come and it will come at a very great speed. Trust me. And what I suggest again and again, I've been telling throughout, that one has to prepare and be ready for that bus. If you are not ready at this point of time and you are whiling away your time and passing your time by watching Netflix, then when the bus comes, I'm sure you'll not be able to get in. Okay, so better prepare yourself and remain fully ready so that when the bus is zipping past, you are the first one to get into that bus. Okay, so nothing to feel
Beautifully said.
depressed
Lovely.
about. Yeah, nothing to feel depressed about. But yeah, it's a situation which is beyond anybody's control. Okay, but this is not going to be a permanent situation. That also is for sure.
Saurabh, may I say something over here?
Yes, please, sir, please.
You know what Chef has so beautifully said? I'm just reminded of Mr. Mihir. Mr. Mihir happens to be the manager of Mahinder Singh Dhoni. And while many people conjectured about Mahinder Singh Dhoni's impending retirement, Mr. Mihir has come on record saying that he is keeping himself 200% fit for the IPL the moment it happens. So I think what Chef Subroto has said is just exactly that. Keep yourself ready before the bus comes to your bus stop.
Very rightly said. Thank you so much, Pradeep, sir.
Thank you, Saurabh Chef.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions, if we have, we can take it up. Otherwise, let's wrap up the session.
Chef Subroto, I have sent you a WhatsApp message. We can be in touch on the WhatsApp. I've sent you a WhatsApp message.
Definitely, definitely. I'll reply you back once I'm free.
Absolutely. We'll stay connected.
Sure.
So thank you so much, Subroto Chef. I guess we are done with all the questions. We have, I guess, taken all of them. Thank you so much for coming, Chef. And I guess there's
Thank
a
you.
lot to learn in these times of hardship. So I guess we all have to hone our skills and keep up the work that we are used to do. So thank you so much, Chef, for coming. Thank you so much. Garima
It
ma'am.
was my pleasure.
So much, Chef, for your time.
Thank you, Garima ma'am, and thanks to all the panelists. It was a wonderful time I had, and I was quite excited to do this because I thought it is worthwhile to share with all of us with the same trade. Because at this point of time, as I said, if we share, the stress comes down a little bit.
Yes,
Okay, so it is always good to share and know and help each other to do better. So it is a wonderful session, and thanks to all of you. I had a good time.
Thank you. Take care, Chef. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Chef. Thank you so much.
And there's one more thing that Garima ji, you always say thanks to everybody, but on behalf of the audience, please accept our thanks to you and to your wonderful team for doing this fantastic webinar series. So accept our thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All an effort from my team that they
Absolutely.
have made it happen, sir. Thank you so
Surely.
much.
Bye-bye, everyone. Have a wonderful
Bye.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you to all the attendees also. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.